Good evening to all the undead ghouls and monsters. We are your horror hosts for tonight's Last Rites. I am your horror host, Brandon Brown, and always with me is my co-host,
Ollin Hernandez.
And today is actually the weekend of Creepy Aftermath. So if you guys are at the convention this weekend, drop us a line. Let us know how the aftermath was compared to the original CreepyCon, which is this weekend, September 23rd through the 24th. For our show, we are going to have some news and some reviews. We've got 4 movies to review, and we've got several news posts that we would like to talk about. So we're going to start off with the news, and Ollin's going to start.
Yeah, we have some news out of the Conjuring universe. The actress who plays the nun, her name is Bonnie Aarons. She's suing Warner Bros. New Line Cinema. Basically, she claims that they've been hiding, or they weren't completely transparent about all of the earnings of the Nun movies, and she claims that she requires a share of merchandising revenues that she was not given. Her lawyers released a statement saying Warner Bros. Has exploited the talent, creativity, and likeness of Bonnie Aarons to enormous financial success. The numbers that they're giving is The Nun was made with $22 million, and it made back $365 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right? Out of which she was only paid $246,000, being that they made.
Still sounds like a lot. I mean, but I can understand her plight that they're exploiting her. You know, that they want they're collecting all the funds and revenue for her likeness and whatnot. So yeah, shame on Warner Brothers. They should be giving her a bigger piece of that pie, it seems like.
Yeah, there's a great disparity there between those numbers, so I could see how she's upset and definitely asking for what is essentially her fair share.
Yeah. I mean, and she has the likeness, obviously, just her and the makeup. If you were to use an actor with a mask or different makeup, it obviously wouldn't be the same, but Hollywood's been known to do that, pass it off as like, oh no, this is the same person, it's the same scary monster, but she has like this distinct look about her, and then with that makeup that they put on her, really she embodies that character. So yeah. It's I can understand her wanting a bigger piece of the pie, which, in all rights, she's doing a great job in the movie, and as that character, and she should be getting it.
Yeah, especially because a lot of, like she says, the merchandising, it's become such an iconic sort of character that there's Halloween costumes and all sorts of other things with her likeness on it that she should probably back on a little bit.
Yeah, trend has become a huge thing as of late, within like the last 10 years. If you're in some type of anything of media that can generate trend and keep generating it, and then obviously you're going to be making hands over fist dollars with this merchandise. So it's they should be cutting in everybody who's got their hand in that cookie jar, giving them that extra cookie.
Yeah, it comes to prove nobody knows who they're working for.
Exactly. Shame on you, WB. All right, so my news is coming from the Saw world. Jigsaw is back. We talked about that on the last podcast. They're making Saw X, which takes place between Saw 1 and Saw 2. So Jigsaw is back, obviously. It's also announced that Shawnee Smith is back as well, and she's also donning the iconic pig mask. So that is her in the pig mask that you see if you scrolling through and seen stills with a character who's getting the pig mask. So it's been noted that she's returned, and they have pictures of her now with it donned upon her head, like she's pulling it off. And like I said, this takes place between Saw 1 and Saw 2. Jigsaw is looking for a quick fix cure that he hears that he can get down in I believe it was Mexico.
Yeah, somewhere south of the border.
Yeah, somewhere south of the border. So, and it turned out to be snake oil. So he gets down there, and the wool's pulled over his eyes, and things kind of go awry from there. And then Jigsaw's back to his old tricks. So now he's taking revenge. This one's also going to be released at the end of this month in September. It has a September 29th release. So this one's coming up real close. They also have the Saw blood drive returns for Halloween. I guess they used to do a blood drive back in the day. Looks like it was all the way back in 2004 when it launched. So, and it was a pretty huge promotion. So they're bringing that back, and can't wait to check out this installment. People are already talking about that this is technically now considered Saw 2. Because it's the in-between movie. I guess the people who got an early preview have already liked it so far and have deemed it as so. So
yeah, I guess there's enough Saw movies that you can do that thing where you can watch them in chronological order. I guess this would be the second one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I can't wait to check it out. If I can't get to the theater, then obviously the pirate will get it for us, and then we'll watch it and give it a review.
Yeah, the posters look really cool.
Yeah, they've got a new. That was the last thing I was going to say. The first poster was a picture of this guy with some kind of tubes coming out of his eyes, like some kind of metal mask that they had, and it was they were crossing to form an X for Saw X. But the newest poster is a 40X poster, and it's a bunch of human bodies that are creating Billy's face. So Billy, the little puppet that rides around on the tricycle, the human bodies are forming his face, which is super cool. Yeah,
that was cool. I like the one with the Aztec calendar with Billy's face in the middle, in the center, at the center of the Aztec calendar. That was kind of cool.
Oh yeah. Passed right by that. I didn't even see that one. That one's super cool. Yeah. So a couple different posters. You guys could put on your wallpaper, save, put on your phones. So yeah, check it out. Saw X, end of September. So that's the news for Saw.
Yeah, and moving on with the news. Another bad news. The actor Percy Hines White has been written out of the second season of Netflix Wednesday. He was the one that played Xavier Thorpe, who was the guy who had the ability to bring his drawings to life. Basically, he would draw something like a monster or something, and it would come to life. Apparently, he's been accused of sexual assault allegations, holding parties at which maybe some things were not as cordial as they should have been, regarding some of the girls. They might have been underage. A lot of allegations like this. The actor has strongly denied the allegations, but in the meantime, he's out of the show.
Man, that really sucks. Yeah, especially with the that riding on the coattails of Danny Matheson's conviction for his rape case. He was basically accused of rape and was tried, and just as of within like the week or two ago was convicted. So it looks like he's serving 30 years to life in prison because of it.
Man.
Yeah, so this kid could be facing a similar future if allegations, become more of a reality, and then they go any further with it by taking it to court. So And a lot of these Hollywood actors, it's kind of taking it with a grain of salt. You don't know if it's happened or it did happen, because you got to listen to both sides of the story.
Yeah.
And you don't know because you weren't there. So it's really all hearsay until the evidence points it out. Especially like we got what Kevin Spacey. I love Kevin Spacey, great actor. Most of when the Me Too thing started, he was like one of the first people that were accused of having unbecoming conduct. I don't think that's what it's called, but that's one of the words I'm choosing to use. But with people who were underage and doing things with them at parties, so he was getting accused of that. And you would, you hear it like once, and you kind of are speculating that it's yay or nay, but then you start hearing more people come out of the woodwork saying the same story. It's either these people are on a cash grab, trying to see if he'll settle out of court and just pay them, like the money that they're looking for, or yeah, it's true. Then all these people decided that now's the time for them to speak up for the stuff that happened. But a lot of his stuff happened like years and years and years ago. As for this kid, this seems like it's all relevantly new because he's young. So
yeah. Well, it's a difficult situation, especially when you have somebody who's routinely doing this, and if more and more people come forward, then it's starting to look bad, And it's like you said, if it's just one person just trying to cash in on somebody else's success, then it's difficult to tell which one will be which. But
yeah. Well, it's sad. Well, hopefully we can get down to the bottom of it. But I guess that's the other thing too, is I don't like when these type of things happen, that the first knee-jerk reaction is to get rid of somebody.
Yeah.
Instead of like the whole judicial system is innocent until proven guilty. But it seems like Hollywood doesn't give a flying fuck about that. They're just like, you get an accusation and it's like, nope, you're out, gone.
Yeah, the business will always disassociate itself.
Yeah,
from yeah.
Like, oh, you're gonna taint us, so we don't want any part of that.
Yeah, so he's out of the show. That's bad news. Do you have a palate cleanser?
I do. My story is it's not so much a story, it's just an announcement that Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses is returning to the theaters for its 20-year anniversary. So 20 years ago, yeah, 20 years ago, he was shopping this movie around because nobody wanted to to distribute it to anybody. And then he came across who was it that actually that produced it? Was it Universal? I think it was. Which I'm not seeing anywhere. But yeah, I think Universal. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But yeah, they picked it up and then released it, and then years later, even Rob says that it's not the movie he thought it was going to be, but it turned into a cult hit. So
yeah, I loved it. I remember watching it way back when, and I was like really impressed with it.
Yeah. So yeah, looks like the beginning of October, it'll have some select screenings. If you go to Fathom Events, you'll be able to purchase your tickets to them and find out which theaters in your local area will be reliving House of a Thousand Corpses. So check it out.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I will continue with the not so good news. Well, this isn't necessarily bad news. It's just Tim Burton came out and had some less than kind words to say about the movie The Flash and the cameos that they used, being some of them his creations.
Yeah, I thought he would be on board, especially like having Keaton come back as Batman.
I thought it was a really cool tip of the hat, but according to him, the studios are being disrespectful in the usage sometimes of some of these properties that technically the studios own, but they didn't create, so there's a little bit of a disconnect there. So he states that he is in quiet revolt against the use of AI by Hollywood studios, which can be unleashed to culturally misappropriate past franchises and icons. In a recent interview, Burton talked at length about his career, and he suggested that he wasn't too thrilled by his former collaborators Nicolas Cage and Michael Keaton's cameos as Superman and Batman, respectively. I take it to mean that maybe he wasn't consulted, or he wasn't the studios just went ahead and used these properties without really giving them proper heads up, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds more like a double-edged sword. It's like they own Batman and Superman, so they can technically do what they want with them, but his versions of them, were his. They obviously could use anybody to be Batman or Superman, but they went ahead and used the Tim Burton, versions. And yeah, they should have given him some heads up, hey Tim, we're doing this movie, and it's a multi-universe situation, so we want to bring in this Batman, this Superman, just letting you know. I guess they're not going to say what do you think about that, because obviously they're going to just do it, but at least they could have consulted him at first, kind of given him something, or even a producer or some kind of credit in the movie, because those were his characters.
Yeah, and it seems like his main issue, or the thing that he takes the most umbrage with, is the use of AI by Hollywood, which is becoming a more prominent theme now, and people are talking about it a lot.
Yeah, it's becoming more I think people were looking at it as something that would be used wisely, but it seems to be something more frowned upon now, especially with a lot of this, this situation with that kid from the last story. There's a lot of actors out there talking about, well, you see something come up with me and it doesn't look like I'm on the up and up, or I'm doing something shady. It's probably not me, it's AI.
Yeah.
We've already had actors.
It's a deep fake.
Yeah, we've already have actors stepping up saying this kind of shit, so that's where you're also going to be oh, wait a minute. Is that actually true, or are they just trying to cover their ass because AI now has appeared and they can, find it and use it as a scapegoat?
Yeah, the line is blurring. So moving on.
Well, that sucks for Tim. I wish, hopefully for the future, they consult him next time on something like that, or maybe they just do a better job that he likes. Maybe he just hated the movie. I know a lot of people did.
Yeah.
So moving on. The George A. Romero Foundation announces that they have found writers for the Dead podcast. So I guess they're doing a podcast called The Dead, which is interesting. We have a podcast here, and obviously if you've been paying attention, this is our 11th podcast. We don't really script anything. This is kind of all fly by the seat of our pants, really, and I think that's how a podcast should be. It just should be, you come up with some ideas, you talk about it, and you just feel it out. To me, having a scripted podcast just kind of takes away from the genuineness of the topics that you'll be talking about. Especially if you get callers, what happens when if you bring a caller in or you bring a guest, how's that script going to go? Now you have to go off script. So that I don't understand. But they have script writers for their show, so I'm guessing I'll obviously tune in to see what kind of podcast it is going to be. I just keep reloading. But they have 5 writers that they found for their podcast. Hannah Schooner, Nick Harkins, Jeremy Elliott, C.K. Anderson, and Luke Condor. So these 5 are set to be the new writers for The Dead. and they've got a production team working on the first season right now. So there's no other information on it. Bloody Disgusting is where I got my information from for this. So I guess if you guys are interested in the Dead or anything Romero related and you want to hear a podcast, keep your ears open for this when it drops. And if we have any more information, we'll let you guys know about it. So we'll see how this comes out.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be like stories that they write, and the podcast is maybe like a radio drama style. I'm not sure. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be totally cool. That kind of shit was really dope back in the day, especially like the War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
Like where everybody just really thought that was real.
Right.
That was super cool. But yeah, like those old timey radio like shows and things like that, because you just use your imagination, and that's usually the best thing next to like seeing something that's like animated.
Yeah, and it's like purely voice acting and sound effects and things like that. So.
Yeah. You get all that emotion coming across, the airwaves, and people do excellent jobs of conveying, what they're feeling, like in the way that they're speaking or the way the background sounds.
Yeah, so that would be cool, but we've yet to see what happens with the Dead podcast.
Yeah, but yeah, check it out. As soon as it drops, we'll give you guys a heads up, letting you know about it, and then we'll also check it out and give it a review, like when it's finally out.
Okay, I have a statement by Dan Trachtenberg, one of the creators of Stranger Things. He spoke a little bit about season 5 and said, "I don't think Stranger Things falls into a category of television seasons like Game of Thrones, where the pilot is cool, slows down, and the last 2 episodes are the big battle." I think he means to say that it won't be like how it happened with Game of Thrones, where the last season was kind of garbage. He's saying that, in fact, season 5 is going to amp it up and pretty much end with a bang, is how I'm taking it.
Yeah, as it should. I think Stranger Things has been getting better and better from the initial first season to season 4. It's brought in new and better ways of these kids like dealing with their demons. I'm a huge D&D person, so I really like the adaptation that they use for D&D, how they call the villains they name all the villains after D&D villains, with Vecna and the Mind Flayer. So all that shit's really cool to me. I have a strong affiliation with that, so I really get where they're coming from. But yeah, the story's been very well written, and it just keeps getting better and better. So, I'm glad that they're actually stating this, letting us know, because that would really suck for some show like this that, is on an incline to just drop off at the last season, kind of. It's the last season, we don't give a fuck, so
we just phone it in at the last gasp.
Basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait to check out season 5. It should live up to all of its expectations. So. Was that it for Stranger Things?
Yeah, that was the one statement that he released.
All right. Season 3 of Chucky, we were all speculating how and if Devon Sawa was coming back, and it's been shown now that Devon Sawa is back. He's playing once again another new character in this season, and you won't believe who he'll be. He's playing the president.
That's awesome that they're doing this with Devon Sawa.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of throws a little bit of shades of The Omen, but obviously the demonic character's Chucky.
Yeah.
So if you've been following the storyline, Chucky's, he's spread himself through multiple dolls, and it looks like this one is in the care of the president's son. So it's taking the season to that route, it looks like. And so Devin's back, and then also season 3 is going to be broken up into 2 parts. So we're going to get some episodes in 2023, and then we're going to get the rest of the episodes in 2024. So just like we were talking about, you said that we're going to get a mid-season cliffhanger, and then obviously at the very end, some kind of cliffhanger, I'm guessing. I'm guessing they're going to want the show to keep going on. So it probably will end either on a cliffhanger, where it's one of those where it could be open-ended. It could be moving on to the next season, or just be done. Or maybe set for the movie. Maybe they're just done with TV and they'll just go back to the movies again. So, but we won't know until the season drops. And then season 3 is supposed to be airing October 4th, the premiere of it, and the first episode is actually titled Murder at 1600, which, if you know, 1600 is the address of the White House.
See, that was my question. Is Devon Sawa going to survive the mid-season finale, or
yeah, right?
Does this mean Chucky's going to kill the president? So many questions.
Yeah. How long will he last through the season?
Yeah. So that's good news. I like that they're doing this thing where they keep bringing back Devon Sawa as a new character. It's hilarious.
They obviously like him a lot, so they're just reinventing him. But at the same token, people are probably thinking, like, how many times can this guy show up, and be somebody new?
I mean, that's a challenge, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously not phoning it in. Like, he's he's up for the challenge to be all these different people.
Yeah, no, totally. That's great. Him and Jennifer Tilly will become like the staple characters. And the Chucky franchise is such a big franchise that I think it could go on forever. And both Tiffany, Jennifer Tilly, and Devon Sawa could reprise some sort of role within the franchise, even if they're old and in their 80s, well into their 80s.
Yeah. Same thing to like Brad Dourif, as being the voice of Chucky. As long as he's, kept his voice good, he could, voice Chucky up until the day he dies. Being like a voice mainly known for the voice acting, which is, I guess, what these guys do. They protect their voice to make sure that it, that it always has that same sound. It would suck that, if something ever happened, cancer or anything like that, it usually ends up changing the voice. I don't know about him personally, but it doesn't sound like he's a drug user, because that also has a big effect. I mean, look, a lot of these rock stars, like, you can hear the difference between from when they first started to how they talk now. Their voices are just wrecked because of the drugs. So, this is his bread and butter. This is how he gets paid. So he's obviously, protecting his financial cash cow.
Yeah, hopefully we have I know Brad Dourif to last us a while. He could be the David Attenborough of the Chucky franchise.
Yeah, totally.
Moving on with the news, I have one more thing. So apparently there's a new Crow movie, which it was already filmed, but they haven't released even like trailer or anything. I just know that it exists, and
I haven't seen any stills or anything from it either. Just like artist renderings and people just imagining what the new Crow is going to look like.
So far we have casting, and Bill Skarsgård is going to play Eric Draven, which I was looking it up. None of the other Crow movies have an Eric Draven, except for the TV series which did have an Eric Draven played by Mark Dacascos. But other than that,
No,
so
the,
it's
the,
been
the first one had Brandon Lee's character was Eric Draven.
Brandon Lee's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the original is Brandon Lee.
Yeah, the original and the TV series all had an Eric Draven, but all the rest of the sequels, which I think there was 4 movies in total, they were all their own original.
Yeah, different crows, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Eric Draven. So yeah, so I guess this new Crow movie, which is set to be released in 2024, starring Bill Skarsgård as Eric Draven. It sounds like it's going to be a remake of the original, or maybe they're going back to the James O'Barr original graphic novel.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. And I'm kind of on the fence about Bill being Eric Draven. You know, is he growing his hair out? How's the look going to be? Is he going to be the traditional Eric Draven from the graphic novel, or is he going to be a new version of it? I'm not sure who's the studio that's doing the film.
That I don't know either. I know very little about what's going on with this movie, other than it's out there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think that there would be some type of imagery or pictures and things like that, but I have yet to come across anything other than just the artist renderings of people, drawing.
Well, hopefully it's good, because the first Crow movie with Brandon Lee was my formative years. I mean, that was one of the movies that made me who I am. So I feel you when you say this. You're very tentative to see what they do with it, because we don't want something like that that's so precious to us and reminds us of our youth to be dragged through the dirt and done wrong.
Yeah. Crow means a lot to me. It was the movie that me and my group of friends in high school watched. In fact, my wife was in that group, and it was me, her, 2 of her friends, and my friend, and then we would have we called it Crow parties.
Nice.
So we would get together at one of their houses, and we would watch the movie and fuck around, just messing around and shit, doing whatever shit. I think they tried to put together bags, like how they do the Rocky Horror Picture Show, from what I remember, and do some silly shit like that.
Was it fun?
Or we'd paint her face, and yeah, it was fun. It was really cool. But that was our high school years, at least my last 2 high school years, my junior, senior year. While my wife and her friends were freshman, sophomore.
Yeah. I mean, this was a while back, right? What year was 94, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That Crow movie, yeah. So lots of really cool memories with that movie. So yeah, we'll see what they do with it. Hopefully it's good. But that's part of the news.
Cool. Well, I mean, I'm excited to see it, to see what they do with it. Like I said, I'm on the fence. So I'm just waiting to check it out. I would really like to see some pictures, but until that happens, I'm just kind of in the dark. And then I guess the last bit of news is going to be about Talk to Me, which is one of the movies that we're going to review here today. The A24, who has produced the Talk to Me movie here in America, because it's an Australian movie, has announced that they confirmed that they're going to be working on a sequel for it. So they've green-lighted the sequel for it, Talk to Me 2, which I'm not sure if that's going to be the title, but it's probably the working title for now. But we'll get more information as soon as we get it from A24 about who's going to be in it, what's it going to be about, and when it's going to be released. But we will talk about Talk to Me in our review today. That way you can get a little more information if you've seen it. Drop us a line, let us know what you thought of it. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out, because I think it was a really good movie.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the ending, which we'll probably talk about on the reviews, I knew this was poised to be some sort of franchise or some sort of future franchise. So yeah, I'm not surprised that a new one is in the works.
All right, well, that was our news for what's going on. Also, I guess I lied. The last bit of news is in October 13th through the 15th, will be the Son of Monsterpalooza. So if you're at the Creepy Aftermath this weekend, you've got one more horror convention for the year here in California, where we're at. And it will be at the Pasadena Convention Center mid-October. Like I said, October 13th through the 15th. Pasadena Convention Center, Son of Monsterpalooza. All right, so now we're going to get underway to our reviews. Like I said at the beginning, we have 4 movies to review. We have Renfield, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, Talk to Me, and Sympathy for the Devil. You want to start?
Yeah. So Renfield, 2023, with an hour and 33 minutes, starring Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult. Also Aquafina, Ben Schwartz, Shure Agadashlu. Sorry, I butchered that. Basically, the premise is Renfield has been working for Count Dracula for quite a while now. We're in modern times, New Orleans. Dracula is in a really bad state, and Renfield is taking care of him and bringing him victims so that he can feed upon, while also going to a support group for people who are in toxic relationships or in abusive relationships.
That's great.
And and there's also a couple of other subplots. Renfield gets these sort of like superpowers from eating flies, sort of like in the book and in the movie, but to a more superlative degree. Very over the top. Fun movie, as I recall. But that's basically the premise of the movie.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed how they made it basically a modern sequel.
Yeah.
To the original Dracula. And in the movie itself, you can see they give you like flashback segments in black and white that shows you these two actors portraying these characters of the original segments from Dracula with Bela Lugosi, and then all the way up to modern times now to where they're at here, which I thought was really cool. I mean, they could have easily just overshadowed that or overlooked it and not included it, but it was really kind of cool to see the throwback. You know, seeing Nicolas Cage portraying Bela Lugosi, and then seeing Nicholas Hoult portraying the Renfield character when he first was introduced to the Count, and then seeing kind of like what he's been doing from that day to now, and then you said something about with the bugs. So yeah, he eats bugs and he gets these superpowers now, like how Dracula, when he drinks the blood of his victims, you know, it re-energizes him, gives him new life. But like with Nicholas Holt's Renfield, as he eats the bugs, it's almost like he turns into a superhero. You know, it's kind of like on that over-the-top aspect, as you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, the movie was written by I lost it. Let me start again.
Ryan, looks like it was written by Ryan Ridley.
Yeah. So
and then it was a story by Robert Kirkman.
Right. So it was written by Ryan Ridley from Rick and Morty, which is where you get the whole comedic pacing and the whole comedic, all the jokes from, really.
Oh, makes sense.
Robert Kirkman, who I feel was hired to do something like what he did with The Walking Dead, but instead he brought in Invincible, which is also one of his properties. which is I think where you get the whole superhero sort of vibe from, which is kind of interesting. I don't know that it worked too well, but the movie was still really fun, despite that.
Yeah. I mean, you can't take it as a serious movie because it's aimed more as a comedy. I think with
horror comedy,
with horror aspects to it, just because of the things that are happening. So I look at it as more like an action comedy with horror.
Yeah.
With horror tendencies.
Absolutely.
Just because of who
like
the characters are.
Yeah. Because of the characters, yeah. It reminded me of, speaking of Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage, it reminded me of Warm Bodies, which is sort of a rom-com, but with zombies in it. Nicholas Hoult was the lead in that one. And then Vampire's Kiss, which is also a Nicolas Cage. With Nicolas Cage just losing his shit.
Oh wow, that takes me back. That's an old one.
Yeah. So,
but the Warm Bodies I never saw. I know about it and I know that he's in it, but yeah, I never saw that one.
Yeah, it's basically a chick flick, but yeah, Nicholas Hoult and I was looking it up, and both Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage had already worked together in The Weatherman.
Really?
And, Nicholas Hoult played his son in The Weatherman. So
man, look how young he looks.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
He's basically a kid. So it's kind of cool to see him work again together.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the rapport they had between those two characters, with the abusive relationship and him, because like in the movie you see the first time you see Nicholas Hoult, he's like a badass. He comes in and starts kicking ass and starts beating the shit out of these gangsters and stuff. But as soon as Dracula comes in, he's reduced completely. So like that dynamic that they have between them, I think was worked really, really well.
Yeah.
You could see that these two actors had worked together before.
Yeah, that's always good. Yeah, I liked his help group that he goes to. Like they're such a toxic relationship between the two of them that he seeked out a self-help group, or a 12-step group is what they're calling it, 12-step help group. For codependency relationships and how to recuperate from it. yeah,
and he used that sort of like a good hunting grounds, right, to get him the victims that he wants. Even though there's this one scene where he yells at him, he's like, "Dude, you're bringing me garbage." Like he's obsessed with like the purity of somebody making the blood purer and more efficient, or like better for his nourishment, I guess.
Yeah, I like how he had like a laundry list of demands of like the type of people that he wanted him to bring him back. Like he had, he wants like, I wanted cheerleaders and a bus full of nuns.
Yeah. A bus full of, I think that's what it says. And then he points out, well, I don't know, the nuns that you know about, but the nuns I've met are not very pure at all.
Yeah.
He makes a sort of like a weird joke. Honestly, the best thing about the movie was Nicolas Cage. I think he was pretty much the only one that really understood the assignment and was having a lot of fun, it looks like, on camera. He was really leaning into the comedic aspect of the vampire lore. So that's kind of cool. Nicholas Hoult, it didn't really work as well for me as a leading man. I think he was a little better in The Menu. I think those type of roles are more his bag. Awkwafina was, she plays pretty much the same character every time. She was cute. She was. I didn't really see the chemistry that I feel the movie was trying to portray between Nicholas Hoult, Renfield, and her character, who is a cop with a FBI sister, and the whole mystery around the killings and their beef with the mafia was a little bit too cartoonish for me, and I don't know if it was exactly necessary for the movie. Like, I don't mind having subplots, but I wish they would have done a lot more with the
It's
relationship.
It was like they were trying to push that subplot to be the main plot.
Yeah.
Instead of just being about Renfield's relationship with Dracula, like they were really pushing.
They got pushed to the side a little bit.
Yeah, about Awkwafina's family issues.
And I understand there's the comedy, and I've seen. If you've seen Rick and Morty, there's a lot of there's a lot of moving parts and those type of stories that they write. I feel like the pacing was a little too fast. It didn't they would tell the jokes, but they wouldn't let the jokes sit and breathe. They would constantly move to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And I don't know. I had a little bit of trouble with the pacing of the movie, especially in terms of comedic timing. But other than that, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I don't know if I'll revisit it anytime soon, but it was definitely a good time. I give this movie 3 stabs.
Okay. Yeah, I like the movie a lot. I have a lot of similar points as you do on it as well. But I think overall, like they should have really stuck to the Renfield Dracula relationship. The self-help group was good. I think the whole mob story just could have not been in the movie. It wasn't needed. I don't think. I mean, I think that's where the action aspect came from in the movie. And it really didn't need it. You could have seen more of the aspect of, if they did bring the mob in, it could have been just a scene where they broke in wrong place at the wrong time and Dracula fucks them up, and gets his fill or his drink on. But yeah, it's just, I think they tried to push that subplot into something that it wasn't going to be.
Yeah, no, and the action scenes are good. They're fine. I mean, it was no John Wick, but they were okay, and they're really cool to watch. There's a lot of gore, and for a gorehound like me, it was perfect. But yeah, the subplot was a little bit extra. What do you give this movie?
I'm on the same page with you. 3 stabs out of 5.
Yeah.
For it, just for that fact, I love Dracula and Dracula lore and Dracula stories, and like I said, I love the continuance of this. It just some of the story in the story just to me was a little more overwhelming. So it could have got a better stab without it, but unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah,
it is a fun movie. I do recommend people to watch it. I mean, not over and over, like you said, but yeah, go out, watch it, have a laugh. You'll enjoy it. Nicolas Cage is definitely, I agree with you, at one of his bests as this character. And Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage a lot of times, and this is one of the times that he's not. So he's more trying to really embody himself as the Count in modern times, and he did a fantastic job at it. So
absolutely. Which one we got next?
So next after Renfield is also another Dracula movie. This one is taken out of the book of Dracula. It's The Last Voyage of the Demeter. So this one is the voyage of the ship called the Demeter, where it takes Dracula from Transylvania to England. And then we're basically going to get a movie of just that voyage. This one is a 2023 movie, listed as horror fantasy, and has a runtime of 1 hour and 59 minutes. It's rated R. And this one has a not so well-known cast. Some people I recognize, some people I don't. And when I actually heard the first voice I only heard Liam Neeson, like the way this gentleman was speaking. He Captain Elliot is the character that was speaking, and he's portrayed, or he's his actor name is Liam Cunningham. So from what I thought, Liam Neeson, Liam Cunningham, different Liam. But there's a actor named Corey Hawkins who plays Clemens.
Yeah, I remember him from he played Dr. Dre in the
he played Dr. Dre in the NWA movie.
Yeah,
Boys in the Hood, or no,
yeah,
Straight Outta
Straight
Compton.
Outta Compton. Yeah, that's the one. That's the only thing I remember him from. Liam Cunningham, different Liam, not taken Liam Neeson, not Master Qui-Gon. Different Liam. I remember him from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, shame on me. I haven't seen Game of Thrones. Not sure why I haven't, but I need to binge watch it because there's been a lot of movies with a lot of actors that are in it that are from Game of Thrones, and you've been pointing that out to me.
And another actress, Aisling Francoisi. I don't recognize her from anything. I do recognize David Dastmalchian. I always butcher that name, but he's been in the Dark Knight movies.
Yeah, he was in The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger, and he was actually also in the TV show Gotham. So he played two different Joker henchmen in the Batman universe. And then also in the DC universe, he played Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad movie. He was also in Oppenheimer and The Boogeyman, and then he was also in Ant-Man, all the Ant-Man movies. He played, what was he, Russian? Is that what they're saying he was in the Ant-Man movies? He had like the accent.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Let's see if I can get to those real quick. Veb. Kurt. Is it saying Veb must be like his last name? Kurt. So he played Kurt in the Ant-Man movies. But yeah, he's to me he's an underrated actor.
Yeah, he's always like that guy. Oh, it's that guy,
Yeah, he's a really good character actor. He obviously embodies every character that he's ever played, and just crazy like how it just he just his dimension of acting just really you can feel it and you can see it and how well it's portrayed.
He's got really good range. He's got really good range as an actor. And I think he did a really good job in this one. He even does like this accent.
The Russian hacker.
Yeah.
Because he had the whole story with the Baba Yaga.
Oh, right.
Which was funny. And every time I hear that word, I always think of freaking Keanu Reeves, John Wick.
Oh, John Wick, yeah, for sure. But this movie was really cool. Very moody, very dark. The type of vampire that I love is that monster vampire. In Francis Ford Coppola, the Bram Stoker's Dracula, that was the Dracula that I always loved. It was always, he had the old count, the aristocrat, and then he had that young, dapper version of himself. But my favorite was always when he turned into a giant bat or a wolf or a monster. That was when I really liked the vampire. And this vampire reminds me a lot more of the Nosferatu vampire, which is my favorite type of vampire. And I feel like the movie more than based on the chapter of Bram Stoker's novel. I think it was mostly based on that boat scene from 1922's Nosferatu. It's the feel that I got most. out of the movie and the mood of the movie and the look of it.
Yeah, they might have been paying tribute to it with bringing that into this movie, and it's really cool that they were able to take that whole chapter of the boat trip and then just create their own movie out of it.
Yeah.
To kind of fill in the blanks. The only problem I have with the way it ended is that the character that Corey Hawkins played, Clemens, he was kind of still on a mission to find Dracula.
Yeah, it was a bit open-ended, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like you see the new...
but you don't hear anything about this character in
anywhere else, yeah.
Anywhere else in the book of what's going on with Dracula,
So if they're gonna make more of these movies, is the Clemens character gonna be sort of a Van Helsing type character, or some sort of another vampire hunter type character? I mean, we have a lot of those, but is this gonna be like the new one, sort of a vampire hunter throughout the years? I don't know. But yeah, they left it open-ended, and in that sense, he's basically the only survivor of the Demeter. So I don't know if they're going to continue with this character, or if that's just the ending.
Yeah, or like what would they call it? You know, is it still going to have the Demeter name into it? Like, is he the vampire hunter of the Demeter, or?
Yeah, the last survivor of the Demeter, or something.
Yeah,
like
last survivor of the Demeter. You know, and it's basically like it would have to only be a 2-part like that. It would be the last voyage and then the last survivor, because again, he's not described anywhere in the book moving forward after he gets to England.
Yeah, they would have to move away from the original source.
And it seems like he's like not him, but Dracula was fucking with him, especially being in that pub. Or bar, like, or whatever it was, like how he was like
luring him or
and
teasing him.
Like, especially you hear that cane like hitting the floor like multiple times, and he kept turning back and looking.
Yeah,
you know, and then like the whole like brushing the face and the ear, and you know, he's like, you know, kind of like just fucking with him, and then walks outside and sees him down the alleyway. So you know, that reminded me also of a little bit of like Jack the Ripper.
Right.
So, you know, maybe they're going to lead into that, saying that, you know, Dracula is Jack the Ripper. And
that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be kind of a cool concept.
That would be cool.
Do a little crossover.
Yeah, but no, the movie was really, really cool. It you have to make a few concessions. Like I didn't know why the girl, why she spoke perfect English. Like you have to suspend disbelief a little bit to make it work. They made a very effective slasher movie, essentially, which is right up my alley. And with Dracula in it, with a Nosferatu looking monster in it, it was almost tailor-made for somebody like me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. I totally understood like how they brought her into it. You know, he was clearly feeding on her, and then when they found her after that box of dirt basically opened and she fell out of it, you know, Clemens having that background as I don't know if he's actually a doctor or just like some kind of physician's assistant or something like that, but he had some kind of medical background, so he was giving blood transfusions to her, so that was keeping her I guess from turning. Yeah,
from fully turning, because at the end when they're not able to do that anymore, she also dies a vampire's death at the end.
Yeah, and then basically like tells him like that's how she wanted to go out. Because he was like, oh, we can do more transfusions, and
but no, she was done. She was done.
Yeah.
I like this movie. It was the best one this week that I watched. I give it 4 stabs out of 5.
Yeah, I agree. I give it 4 stabs out of 5 also. It was a lot more story driven as well. I thought it could have been a little more action. but
Sure.
I think
Sure, I agree.
But the story was very well written. Each character was captured perfectly. It sucks about the little boy though.
Oh yeah.
That's the only drawback of the movie, which is like fucked up. But you have to expect that with Dracula, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a monster.
He has an obsession for younger victims.
Yeah, so
for sure.
He's gonna want that innocent blood. But yeah, overall, very well written, very well executed. It was just more. It was more story than action. So if it had some more action, I think it would have been a total 5 out of 5 stabs for me. But
yeah, same. I did deduct 1 stab just because I feel like there was a few missed opportunities there that they could have gone with. But overall, it worked. It worked.
Yeah. All right. So next on our list is Talk to Me. So this movie is actually from 2022. This movie is also Australian, which none of this stuff I had known because the way it was marketed here in America. It's rated R. It's a horror thriller with a runtime of 1 hour and 35 minutes. The A24 must have got the rights to it because also I was under the impression that this was an A24 movie, but they only produced it to be shown here in America. So they own it somehow or own the distribution rights to it somehow, but they didn't make the movie at all.
I see.
And like the cast is relatively all unknown except for Miranda Otto, who plays the mom Sue. She's the only one I recognize. Everybody else in the movie, I have no idea who they are. I've never seen them before.
Yeah, they're mostly Australian or actors who are famous or known in Australia, Australian TV. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them that are in Australian TV that are just extremely known. Like the character Haley.
Zoe Tarakis?
Yeah.
Tarakis?
From what I read about Zoe, Zoe is actually transgender.
Uh-huh.
And was actually listed as the first transgender actor to be casted in a Marvel movie, which not even a movie, it's the TV series Ironheart.
Ah, okay. Not aired yet, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
not aired
she's in
yet.
that?
Yeah, so Zoe's in that. And then, they got Joe Bird, who plays Riley. Chris Alacio plays Josh. Otis Danji, I'm like butchering people's names and I apologize, plays Daniel. Jet Gasly plays Alex. Alexandria Jensen plays Jade. Ari MacArthur plays Cole. Where's the girl at? Oh, and Sophie Wilde plays Mia.
Yeah, the directors are Danny Filippo and Michael Filippo, who I think are twins. They have this YouTube channel called Raka Raka, where they make little videos, little short horror movies. They're also very comedic. That's their fame. Also very popular in Australia.
Yeah, so as we spoke earlier in the news that they had green-lighted a second movie. The question is are they keeping it Australian or are they moving it to America?
Yeah, well, where is the hand traveling next, right? Because when we last see the hand, there's somewhere else that's not Australia, from what I was able to gather.
Yeah, I don't know. I assumed that they were speaking Spanish, but I don't know if it was like could have been Mexico, could have been Central America, could have been Spain.
I thought it sounded like Polish or German to me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't, or it could have been.
I don't know. It was late when I
Portuguese.
watched it. Like,
yeah, I don't know what language.
so I just assumed it was Spanish. Maybe it'll say in the. In the Wikipedia here, but I don't see.
So the movie was really interesting. The device of using the hand, as I read on some reviews, it wasn't even written in the original script. They came up with that later, but I think it's a really good plot device, and the premise of the story is something we've seen a lot before. Basically, kids. It reminded me of kids playing with a Ouija board or playing Bloody Mary, things like that. But definitely the hand was a really unique and new plot device to me.
Yeah, especially like so the whole device of it is that the way the hand is, it's in a getting ready to shake your hand position. So you do the same thing. You put your hand in its hand to shake it, and then you say, "Talk to me," and then it shows you. It shows you a ghost or a
spirit,
a spirit, or whatever they're really calling it. I'm not sure what they're calling it in the movie.
Yeah, that was one of my questions.
And then you say, "Let me in." So now the vision of the thing that you see in front of you, is that inside of you, or did something else get inside of you? Because now basically you're letting something possess your body. So talk to me is to see it, and then let me in is to be possessed.
Yeah, I saw it also as the hand is kind of like a gate into like the nether world or something. It's like a connecting tissue between the two worlds. Yeah, that was one of the things. I didn't know if these entities were ghosts or. Oh, so the last we see the hand is with some Greek people. So
Yeah.
that was Greek.
Yeah, it was Greek.
Okay.
Not Spanish, not Portuguese.
Similar. So that's interesting. So the hand starts to make its rounds, right?
Yeah, and the other question is how long of a time span was that from when it ended, from the where it ended up with the kids to it ended up with the Grecians.
Right. Yeah, because Mia at the end dies.
Spoiler.
And you see a sequence in which she's not able to follow her dad, which I take it her dad also dies, but he's able to move on while her spirit remains in this realm, in this limbo, I guess is what they were calling it too in the movie.
Which to me sounds like a purgatory.
Right. Basically, yeah, you're stuck between realms, basically. It had a lot of themes of grief, and acceptance of loss, which is why I think the hand is symbolic in that way. It's because you can't let it go. It's about letting go and not being able to let go. So Mia is struggling with the fact that her mom had died and she had taken her own life, and she couldn't accept the fact that her mom would rather leave her. Maybe she was struggling with depression or things of the sort, and Mia is someone who's not being able to let go. And so the hand has a lot to do with not being able to let go of these things, and thus it sucks her into this descent into madness, that ultimately gets her killed and trapped in this realm. And yeah, it's like you said, we don't know how long it was between the moment she died to when she becomes one of these spirits, one of these ghosts within the hand.
Yeah, it's crazy because the other question I have is with her seeing all this stuff or being, have these people like whispering to her, is it actually happening or is it just something that's in her head? I believe it could have been something that happened at first and maybe unlocked something in the brain to cause these hallucinations. So those are the questions that I have that I would like to have answered somehow, but obviously I don't know how that would happen without me sitting down and talking to the writers about the movie. But yeah, is it actually the spirits that are causing this deception for her to cause all this harm, or is it actually her and it just triggered something in her mind, and then caused her to spaz out?
Exactly. That was a little bit unclear. Like, I didn't know if it was the spirit themselves who were like these evil manipulators and would compel the host to kill for whatever reason, or if it's, like you said, some sort of psychological trigger that makes the host react violently.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit unclear. It does total the line between the realities, right? So it's difficult to tell which is real. Is it the demonic entities, or is it some sort of psychosis? Right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because there's a scene with Mia, mom basically saying or whispering to her, this is not your father. And it's looks like a demonic entity of her dad, basically trying to like choke and kill her, and then you see her in her room struggling and there's nobody there but her, and she's on the floor. So, is it an entity that she's seeing and it's attacking her, or is it actually in her mind, that this is happening? And then her dad comes in after hearing the commotion of what's going on, and then she ends up killing him, basically stabbing him
in the real world,
in real life, because of her psychosis.
Same with the scene with the where she's sleeping with her friend. They're just sleeping, and she wakes up to an old corpse sucking on the guy's toes, and then she's yelling at him to wake up, and then when he wakes up, it's her doing the toe sucking.
That's see, all these little things lead to me asking the question. That's where I'm asking, is that actually her psychosis, or is it actually the entities? And that would be a big one for me. Like, I would be leaning towards psychosis because of that scene itself, from what she's seeing, and she's trying to wake him up, and then when he does wake up, it ends up being her the one who's sucking on his feet, and not the spirit or whatever it is that she's seeing sucking on his feet. Because she like snaps, I don't know if she snaps out of it, because she just she's like, well, what? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
He's like flipping out.
He's confused. But then there's the scenes that tell you that the entities are real. Like when Riley, every time he's not sedated, every time he's up, basically, tries to kill himself. This happens after his possession. They let the possession go on too long, so they assume that he's possessed permanently. But then we get that scene with one of the other kids, the ones at the beginning of the movie, telling our main characters that actually the possession or the possessor becomes weaker with time.
Yeah. Right. So then what happens to these entities? Like, if the person doesn't die, do these entities just expel out of the body, or they disappear, or they move on, whether it's to a higher plane or a lower plane? You know, none of that stuff's ever answered.
Yeah, it's left out in the air.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, it's I thought it was a very well written movie, especially being you would technically have to call it a foreign film because it's, you know, from another country, and for it being Australian, it still touched on a lot of similarity stuff that, you know, that we talk about here in America, and it just, you know, they have accents in this movie.
Yeah.
So if they didn't have the accents, you would think
a lot of expressions that I was not familiar with.
Yeah, you would think it'd be more of an American movie, but obviously it wasn't. But yeah, overall, I thought it was good. I would give it 4 out of 5 stabs.
I'm giving it 3.5 stabs, only because some of the questions were some of the things were left in the air too much for me. But I really like the symbolism. It's a very well-rounded movie. The characters were very well developed. The things that they do, like Mia not being able to kill Riley at the end, goes in par with her not being able to kill the kangaroo, the injured kangaroo. So that's very much in her nature, and so it's congruent to see it happen again later in the movie. Even though she was being manipulated, she's not able to kill Riley because that is just not in her nature to do. Instead, she takes her own life, same as her mom. So it's really, as George Lucas would say, it rhymes, right? So that was very well done. And she also dies in the very same spot that the kangaroo was placed. So if you look at the frame when the kangaroo, there's like some writing on the road, some graffiti, and then when she falls onto the road herself, you see the same writing. So they were very careful of framing.
Oh, nice. I didn't see that.
Yeah. It's really interesting how they were able to bring it all back around throughout the movie.
I'll have to rewatch it and
yeah. That's the thing I caught only on my second viewing. But yeah, I was like really impressed by the way they did that. But I still had a few questions left over, so I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. All right. Well, that was Talk to Me, and then like we said, that they got a green light for Talk to Me too. So probably 2024 we'll be looking to see that movie come out.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll be back for it.
Yeah, totally. All right, our last movie for review is Sympathy for the Devil. This is a 2023 movie, action psychological thriller with a runtime of 1 hour and 30 minutes, rated R. And this movie has Nicolas Cage, Joel Kinnaman, some minor roles, Nancy Good. I can't even pronounce this guy's name. Kaiwei Lehman. It's like almost seems French. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like French. I'm not even gonna try. That's. But basically, this movie is just Nick Cage and Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah.
Almost the entire time.
Yeah, there's some minor characters throughout the movie, but that's basically what they are, just minor characters, or, you know, the scenes they just happen to be in, you know, are short-lived.
Yeah, it's weird. A lot of the credits or the character names are just waitress or the cop, the passenger, the driver.
Yeah, that's basically what you get for Nicolas Cage and Joel Kinnaman is Nicolas Cage is the passenger and Joel Kinnaman is the driver, even though they have names in the movie.
Yeah, I think that's done deliberately so that you don't know who's who, and that's kind of like the point of the movie, right? Because the movie is the driver is caught off guard. He's got things going on. His wife is about to have a kid, and then the passenger just comes in and basically hijacks the driver and his car and takes him on a joyride, and things unfold from there.
Yeah, a lot of this movie takes place in the car. So
I would call it a road movie, I guess.
Yeah, it takes place. It takes place in Las Vegas. Like you said, the driver's wife is about to give birth, so she's at the hospital. He actually makes it to the hospital. Has parked and is based. I don't know what he's looking for, but he's got her overnight bag, and he's looking for something else. And as the point of him looking for something else, the passenger, Nicolas Cage, opens up the back door and sits down in the car. Yeah. And you see Joel Kinnaman look back and say, "Excuse me, sir, what are you doing?"
Yeah, this is not an Uber.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm not an Uber." He's all, "My wife is inside about to give birth. Like, I need to get inside." And Nicolas Cage pulls a gun out and says, "Drive." And that's where the movie starts on its journey.
Yeah, some revelations are made after that.
Yeah, definitely some twists.
Joel Kinnaman has a past as he was like a hitman or a mercenary, something like that, right?
Yeah, like a fixer or somebody who like cleans up messes, like has to like take care of problems for I don't know if it was for the mob or mafia, but something along those lines. For like a bookkeeper.
Right, and I guess his wife, him or his wife, see a murder, I guess, and so Nick Cage believes him to be responsible for his wife and kid's death at some point. And the whole movie, it's made unclear whether that's true or not. And the entire time you're asking the question, the puzzle is kind of interesting. So you're trying to put together whether Nick Cage is telling the truth, or is Joel Kinnaman telling the truth? Who's being fictitious here?
Yeah, it's very, very much like how it's stated here. It's like high stakes game of cat and mouse. It becomes clear that not everything is as it seems. So, but this movie definitely pushes the boundaries of Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
He's very psychotic, and his psychosis is just off the charts.
Yeah, the famous Nicolas Cage rage, right?
Yeah. So it's like they basically gave him like leeway to, like, they're like, "Hey, just be yourself."
Yeah. Well, he was one of the producers, wasn't he?
Was he?
I think so. Yeah.
That'd be funny if he is. I didn't see it anywhere here. I'm sure it's somewhere. Yeah, he's just like nuts.
Yeah, very, very much Nick Cagey. Not what I expected. The title led me to believe there was some supernatural things going on, and like Nick was gonna play, the devil.
Yeah, I think we both took it a little too much on the nose.
Yeah, too literally.
Because he's dressed in red, his hair is dyed red.
Yeah,
like he's very much looks like a character that could be the devil incarnate.
Right.
Here on Earth to claim a victim or take someone's soul. That's how I looked at it. Totally, definitely thought this was going to be some kind of horror movie. Similar to the aspect of the M. Night Shyamalan produced movie, Devil.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like you got those
right.
People trapped in the elevator, and one of them's the devil. So that's how I took this movie, is that obviously I thought Nicolas Cage was the devil, and he was, here to reap some revenge upon Joel Kinnaman for whatever he did.
Right. Especially because it sounded like he knew more about the Joel Kinnaman than he should, than anybody should, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, the only other person that would know that would be either someone who knows this person, or it could have been the devil, knowing that and he's just bringing these little tidbits out.
Yeah, he knows his secrets.
And he's just letting them out one by one, and really like fucking with his mind.
Yeah, but it wasn't that. It was more of just a road movie thriller, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, totally. But I was quite entertained with it. I thought it was a really good movie. I was very happy with the twists and turns and the outs. The only thing I was disappointed is that it wasn't a horror movie and that he wasn't the devil.
Right.
Other than that, like, it was still a good movie. Definitely would recommend you guys to watch this. Fun movie. Just don't go in expecting, with it literally like thinking that one of these guys is the devil. So
right. What do you give it?
I'd give it 3 out of 5 stabs.
3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for the sheer aspect, because it's not what I thought it was, and the way that they queued up the trailer also was very misleading.
It was. Yeah. I think that's my main thing that misled me was the trailer.
Yeah.
But,
so if you go into it thinking that this is just going to be some kind of like cat and mouse movie, with some action, and psychological aspects to it, and then you'd probably give it more stabs. But like I said, I went into it, and you went into it thinking it was something totally different. Still, it was a good movie. Still was fun. Still would recommend people to go out and check it out. But that's where I'm at. 3 out of 5 stabs.
Yeah, very enjoyable. For me, I'm giving it 2.5 stars. Stabs. Very middle of the road.
Oh wow, that's pretty low. All right, well that concludes our reviews. So we gave you Renfield, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, Talk to Me, and Sympathy for the Devil. And here, before we close out our podcast, we actually have another. This would have been in the news, but we wanted to actually watch the trailer live and then kind of critique it a little bit. Ollin found this one and sent it over to me, and I thought it would be it's another fun movie. It's called Kill Her Goats. This movie has Kane Hodder in it. I just had everything up for it and just deleted it. There we go. And it has a bunch of unknown actresses. At least I've never heard of them. Some of them are also Playboy Playmates. So this movie is a fun TNA kind of horror movie. Kane Hodder, who we all know as Jason, played the Jason the most times in the Friday the 13th franchise, plays a character called Goatface, and this movie is set to be released. I think it's actually already released, but it was supposed to be released this year.
Earlier this year. Right?
Earlier this year, and then something got held back on it. So it just got released not that long ago. So you can already watch it, rent it, or download it. It shows that it's not rated, and it's from 2023. Like I said, it was supposed to come out in the beginning of the year. But we're going to watch the trailer for it and then kind of go from there. I'm also going to put this trailer on the YouTube, so while you guys are watching the still pictures go by, when it gets to this point, you'll be able to visually watch the trailer with us. So here it goes.
I just arrived, and it's amazing. I can't believe they let us keep all the furniture. I'm having the girls over later, so I'll see you tomorrow.
I still can't tell if this house is creepy or quaint.
It's Cape Cod. Every place is both creepy and quaint.
I'm really glad you guys are here.
Amen to that.
Yeah, my parents bought me this great place because they think I'll live here forever and they'll see me more often.
The Tups were mad.
All the Tups are dead and gone, and it's my place now.
I can't just abide by the fact that she bought the Tup house. She has to regret coming back here.
They took our phone.
I told her what would happen if she came back.
Wake up! Hello? Ouch! Why are there goats?
At the very end, it says, "Sorry about the wait." And it's like, this is the first time I've actually heard about the movie, so I'm like, what was the wait for?
Yeah.
But when I found out that they had made the movie beforehand and was supposed to release it, and then something happened, maybe distribution fell out, I don't know. But yeah, it's Kill Her Goats. So it's 3 words, not like killer, but kill her and goats.
Yeah, it looks very stylized slasher type movie. Goat face looks really cool.
Definitely plays into a lot of tropes of horror movies.
Yeah, they're probably gonna do a lot of callbacks. What was the name? Some of the signs that you read in the trailer.
Yeah, so the name of the town was a play on a famous movie director in horror, Wes Craven. So the name of the town is West, W-E-S-T, Craven, which I thought was pretty funny. I also caught some things. So there's some pictures that were in this house that the girl was given by her parents, and 2 of them that stood out to me was, one of them was Lizzie Borden, and then the other one was Jesse James.
Yeah,
which was funny. So it's funny that seeing if anybody would catch that they would just put these pictures, because both those pictures look old timey. So and the area that they're in, it obviously made sense. So we'll just see who actually else catches that, or what other little things like that. But those are the few things that I saw in the trailer. But I'm sure there's more.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if there's enough material there to do a little bit of an Easter egg hunt throughout the movie.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see, there's a lot of graveyard scene there, so seeing what the names are on the headstones. So that's definitely going to be a fun game to play. Doing a lot of pausing, obviously for other reasons too.
Yeah, on the surface it really looks like a modern but very run-of-the-mill slasher. But with the thing with the goats, they kind of leave it sort of unspoken. But there might be some nuances there with how they utilize these other elements.
Yeah. So obviously the killer's name is Goatface, but the house has got goats coming around in the yard, and then there was a scene where they opened the door and a goat came in. So I'm not sure what's going on with the goats.
Those are her goats, or how come it's kill her goats? I know it's a play on words, but
are they native to the island, or what's going on?
Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, like I said, it looks like a kind of a Final Girl movie.
Totally. They're gonna lean in hard in the Final Girl. Yeah.
And then definitely also some heavy TNA, especially with these playmates that are in the movie.
Yeah, we'll see if what's her name, Ariel Racine, who plays Audra. It says here she's clearly destined for Scream Queen status. We'll see about that.
Yeah, so her and Ellie Gonsalves are the only 2 main actors. The rest of the cast, minus Kane Hodder, are all playmates who are making crossovers, to the movies.
Models turned actresses.
Yeah, so I'm sure that these are the ones who are going to be showing the skin, opposed to the other two girls who may or may not. Although, how do you pronounce that chick's name? Areli? All right. Ariel. Yeah, so she's the main actor for it, and obviously she's, I guess, the one that they're going to be building up to be the final girl if they go that route. But that's how it looks to me. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a fun movie. I'm definitely going to tune in to check it out. I'll see if the pirate can get it. I'm sure if it's out now, then it should already be out, because it didn't go to the theaters at all. Looks like it went right to all the
streaming.
Yeah, the streaming services. But yeah, I definitely would recommend checking this out. Just another one of those fun movies. Anything else to add to it?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Well, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. We want to give a shout out to our unofficial sponsor, Liquid Death. Death the Plastic, Murder Your Thirst. We would really like to get sponsored by these guys, so we're trying to plug them as much as possible. Today, we're murdering our thirst with severed lime, and
I'm having the Grim Leafer.
So I'm having the lime sparkling water, and he's having the black tea.
Iced tea with agave and vitamins. Wow. All right.
So here's to you, Liquid Death. This is one of my favorites, the severed lime.
Yeah, severed lime, yeah. No, this one is good. Not sugary at all, which is very nice.
Was it the agave? You think it's giving it a sweetness?
Yeah, it gives it a sweetness, but it's not overwhelming. You can tell it's not gonna, give you diabetes anytime soon.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I think we've tried almost every flavor.
Yeah, at this point, I've had the Buried Alive, had the Convicted Melon. That one was really good.
Yeah, that one's really good. Surprisingly, I was going in skeptical about it, but overall, it was really good.
Mango Chainsaw, I think I expected a little more.
Yeah, that's my least favorite out of them. I'll still drink it, but I won't go out of my way to probably buy it, but I won't turn it down either.
Yeah. I think I still need to try some of the other iced teas.
The Armless Palmer one is really good.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't tried that one, definitely try that one. And then there's a Rest in Peach.
Nice. Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, so the Rest in Peach and the mango one, to me, were probably the least favorites of each of those two lines.
Yeah.
And then everything else I think was awesome, like really good. Yeah, so Grim Leafer, Rest in Peach, and Armless Palmer are the teas. And then you have the Mountain Water, which is the white can, the Sparkling Water, which is the black can, and then you have the Severed Lime, the Chainsaw Mango, and
Buried Alive.
Buried Alive. Oh, and the where's that? Convicted Melon. Well, those Convicted Melon part of the teas.
No, that one was just.
Where is that? Oh no, it's the sparkling flavor. So that's
sparkling. Yeah.
That's what the Severed Lime and the Mango Chainsaw and Buried Alive. So yeah, the Buried Alive I thought was good, but I think Convicted Melon was a lot better.
Yeah.
Which is also weird too, because the melon came across as, to me, was like a like a honeydew. And
Like a honeydew or a cantaloupe.
Yeah, and you were saying cantaloupe. So yeah, it's definitely really good. So if you like those fruits in general, you'll definitely like that drink. But yeah, the mango and the peach seemed to be something that they were lacking. You know, I think they could have been a little more flavorful. But overall, I mean, all the drinks that we've had from them have been really good. Minus the sparkling. I already know what sparkling water tastes like, and I'm just not a fan of straight sparkling water. I'd have to have some kind of flavor to it. I don't understand people who drink like Evian and all those other like sparkling, like the Pellegrino.
Oh yeah.
It's just weird how people can drink just the straight up sparkling water.
Yeah, usually those are just for mixing.
Yeah, that's how I take them as. I just can't drink them straight. But again, if it's given to me, I probably won't turn it down. You know, water's water, whether it's bubbly in your mouth or it's still. But yeah, so those are the drinks for today for Liquid Death. If you guys aren't a fan of or haven't tried out Liquid Death, you should try it out. Help save the environment. The aluminum cans is a lot easier to recycle opposed to the plastic. And then also, like he said, like Ollin said about the flavor of the Grim Reaper with the agave, gives it that sweetness that it needs without giving you that that sugar kill. So Liquid Death, thank you guys. Hopefully you can sponsor us someday. And if you like the music at the intro and outro of the podcast, the music's brought to you by a band named Zao, Z-A-O. You can find them at zaoonline.net. They have a new album out called The Crimson Corridor, and we have a raw version of the song Creator Destroyer that is being used for our intro outro, but the final version of it is on the album that you guys can check out. And then we have social media that you guys can also check out. We have our link tree attached to pretty much everything on our social media that you can find all of our stuff. So we have an Instagram, we have a Facebook, we have a Twitter, a Tumblr. YouTube is where you can watch the podcast. Rumble, you can also watch the podcast there. You can hear all the podcasts on all the podcast locations, mainly Apple, Spotify for podcasters, and Google. And then you can follow us on our horror trivia at the TikTok. And then if you just want to visit the website, you can come to www.thehorrorscene.com. Any final words?
No. I think that's it.
Seemed like you had something and then no?
It faded out.
Okay. All right. Well, we thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to stay creepy and keep it spooky. From our grave to yours, these have been your last rites.
This is Last Rites.